Hey, what's up, guys? Purple Dream Live Sports. I'm back. Got more NBA rumors and news. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the stuff that is going on. I'm going to talk about some trades that could potentially happen and trades that have happened already. So, yesterday, is either yesterday or the day before, the Portland Trailblazers traded for Kent Bazemore from Atlanta, which clears actually a lot of cap space for them. And Portland did trade away Evan Turner, which clears away some cap space for them, but they inherit the salary of Kent Bazemore. Kent Bazemore is he's an okay player. He's a very decent shooter. He's a pretty decent defender. He's not like a over the top trade. I just think they need a guy in Kent Bazemore who can actually play he's a 3-and-D guy, which is kind of something that the Blazers needed. It's not a bad trade, but it's not a trade that's going to put them over the top. One thing they are also connected in is the Kevin Love trade. To me, if they traded for Kevin Love, it's huge because you get C.J. McCollum, you get Damian Lillard, and you have Kevin Love. Now, once again, I've talked about this a lot the past couple of days. You're going to have to clear off a lot of depth. What are you going to lose? You're going to lose Myers Leonard, who last year in the playoffs, especially in Game 4 against the Warriors, proved to be a very solid option. I think they got to put more... Got to get him on the court more because to me, he's one of those guys that if you play more, he kind of gets a feel for the game. I've seen him over the years because I watched a lot of Portland games. Is that, he's like one of those guys you just got to play him more so you can get more of a feel for the game, especially in the series. If he plays more in the series, he's going to get more of a feel of what to do, how to react and do those type of things. Zach Collins, he's a very great impact guy that to me Portland needs. They need a guy like that off the bench. There's somebody else that I know I'm missing here, but can't quite put my finger on it. They probably have to trade away Nasir Little, their 25th pick, which if I'm Portland, I'm not partnering with that guy, period. To me, he's going to be a very great impact player. He's already developing a jump shot. He's a very versatile defender already, especially at the young age that he is. So my thing is that as great as they would be with Kevin Love, because then they also get a center in Jusuf Nurkic, who's going to be coming back either probably later, midway through the year, probably around January, February. Oh, yes, they would also have to trade Maurice Harkless, which is not a big deal, but that's depth. So Portland's going to have to trade a lot of depth away. Now, do you sacrifice that for a great starting lineup, but then decrease depth? Because guess what? They can't bring back Rodney Hood because of the way he performed in the playoffs, and especially down the stretch of the regular season where he was scoring off the charts. He's going to be getting a big contract somewhere. So a lot of teams are kind of in this mindset where they want to win now because they see Golden State is injured and out for the season where they can win the championship this year. My thing is that Golden State's not going to be down forever. After this year, to me, they will be back on top of the league because even without Kevin Durant, you're going to have Clay, you're going to have Steph. I don't know if they're going to get anybody else. If they trade Draymond, if they keep Draymond, they keep those three together, they can win another championship. It's for Golden State, real quick before I go back to Portland. It's about bringing all that depth back. Golden State is a team that can win with those three stars, but you got to have depth. That's been Golden State's problem to me ever since they got Kevin Durant. Was that the problem to me is that they don't know what kind of pieces to surround. And now that they've lost the championship to Toronto, I think they kind of know what they need. They need shooting badly because they didn't have it off the bench this year. They had it last year. They had it the year before when they first got Kevin Durant. They need shooting, and they need young players. But they need to mix that with some veterans as well. That's the problem. You need veterans and young players to mix so the experience is taught. That's the thing that Golden State needs. But back to Portland, I'm going to keep harping on this as free agency continues and as we go on as the NBA season approaches and as it goes on. Depth is going to be important. Health and depth. Because if you don't have it, if you have great health but you don't have great depth, you're not going to get very far. If you have great depth, but guess what? You have injuries to where that depth is now compromised. You see where that guy Golden State. They were relatively healthy throughout the year to me until The playoffs came, injuries kind of just ran through the organization, and then you see that they don't have any depth. They don't have any guys that they can trust off the bench. Then you see how depleted they were, how tired Steph Curry was the whole entire series because he's pretty much having to stay on the court because they couldn't have anybody else score. So for Portland, I would love the move they did trade for Kevin Durant. I'm not saying I wouldn't love it. I'm just saying what you gain here, you're going to sacrifice. This is kind of what the NBA is, which is why I like it. It's so unpredictable. What you gain, what you sacrifice, it plays a big part. So they got to look out for that. Now, another trade that happened, actually, I think it was a few days after draft night. Mike Conley has been traded to the Utah Jazz, which to me is a great trade for Utah. They're not really actually losing anything. They're just getting a huge salary bump, which they have actually a lot of cap space, so it's not really a big deal for Utah. If him pairing that next to Donovan Mitchell, having a great guy who can play excellent defense, to me, Mike Conley's an underrated defender, especially for his size because of his ability to steal the ball, his ability to stay in front of taller guys especially, but also his offensive game is so refined. He's ambidextrous. He can finish. He's a lefty who can finish right-handed. He's a great mid-range shooter. He can shoot the three. He's great off the pick and roll. He's a good passer. You put that next to Rudy Gobert so he can throw more lob passes to Rudy. Those two working together in the pick and roll, as well as him being able to get open if Donovan Mitchell's in trouble. See, to me, those two can work together especially great. And the fact that Mike Conley is still young, they could potentially sign him to a contract extension because he's only going to be, I think, 31 this coming up season. I thought he was a lot older, but he's actually not. He's actually still pretty young. So this trade works great for them because what they were limited last year was a guy next to Donovan Mitchell who could score. Now they have that because Ricky Rubio is a solid defender. He's a good passer. He's not a shooter. And to me, in Game 5 against Houston, the thing that really slowed down the Jazz from really actually making that a series potentially was that besides Donovan Mitchell struggling, nobody was really scoring. And Joe Ingles, who's actually, I really like him on the Jazz, he struggled last year in the playoffs really shooting the ball. To me, it's a rhythm thing too. It's just... To me, this is going to be a really good team. They're going to really challenge a team like LA, a team like Houston now because of what you have at the point guard spot. Now he can really check Chris Paul. He's actually an inch taller than Chris Paul. They're really similar in skill type. So Utah really upped the bar. Also, they have a player. I think there's a team option on Derek Favors, who's a really good rim protector. He's a good rebounder. If they can bring him back, this team is going to be very formidable. They can really challenge any team in the West. This is an excellent move for Utah. Now, for the Lakers, a lot of what's been happening is that they're linked to J.R. Smith rumors because J.R. Smith is actually in trade discussions, even though there's nothing that's happened yet. I don't think any team wants to inherit his $15 million salary, even though you could cut him and still only have to pay him $4 million. But if he gets cut potentially, then guess what? He could potentially become a Laker on a minimum deal. He's played with LeBron before. LeBron does like shooters. J.R. Smith is a good shooter off the dribble. He's not really a great catch-and-shoot player. He's more of a guy who kind of likes to get into rhythm, which is how he uses the dribble move. It's kind of funny. I think you've seen that. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but he's a guy who doesn't like to shoot open shots. He likes to shoot his shot with a hand in the face. It's kind of weird, but he's very good at it. So, as great as this is for the Lakers, I like how they have cap space. I've said yesterday, they're trying to acquire another star player. No, build out your bench. Bring back JaVale McGee as well. Bring back Rajon Rondo. Have Rajon Rondo start. Have a young guy behind him. Kind of build out your bench. Don't try to get too much into luxury tax. Bring back a whole bunch of guys on one-year deals. Make this a one-year deal thing. Because to me, if the Lakers are doing this 1 year at a time or 2 years at a time, the max you should do is 2 years at a time, then guess what? You're leaving your future open. Don't have your future tied down so much unless it's to LeBron, Kyle Kuzma, or Anthony Davis. That's really the key for the Lakers. You don't want to commit future assets to guys that, to me, aren't really going to be a future asset. You want to commit your future assets to those three guys. Because I love Kyle Kuzma, I love LeBron, and I love Anthony Davis. Those are the only guys, to me, you should absolutely be worried about on this roster. Keeping those guys happy. Other than that, do not give a damn. 1 year or 2 years. That's it. Nothing else. And if you get another max player, like I said, 2 years or 3 years, depending on how good he is. They're also linked to D'Angelo Russell. I think I told you guys this yesterday. They're hoping that Kyrie and KD actually go to Brooklyn so they can bring back D'Angelo Russell. Would this be great? Yes. We don't know how much he signs because, like I said, they have basically $24 million in cap space. He could demand all of that salary. And then guess what? You can't really build out your roster that way because you can only require minimums on lower contracts, right? So I'm going to keep harping on this, and I told you guys this. It's about depth and health. You got to be – that's how I would build a roster up, is that if I got good star players, I got 3 great players on my roster, how do I build this team out with the cap space that I have? You have a really good amount of cap space. I want to build out with good young players as well, and a lot of veterans who can play on the minimum salary, guys who can shoot, maybe play a little defense, who aren't great defense. But guess what? You have a rim protector, and if you bring back JaVale McGee on the minimum, you got Anthony Davis and you got JaVale McGee protecting the rim. That's really a great defense already set up. Build it around having the rim protected, because to me, shooting comes and goes in the NBA season in the playoffs. But what doesn't go is a team that can protect the rim. If you got JaVale McGee and Anthony Davis protecting the rim, you're going to be just fine. If they build out their roster with minimum players, especially veterans, and young guys who can sign to like really small, like short-term deals, they could win a championship. I'm not saying they will, because I think, like I said, Utah could challenge them. Houston could definitely challenge them. But what's going to really help out LA is that they can really get young players on short-term deals, 1 to 2 year deals, and veterans on 1 year deals. You don't want to sign a veteran for more than 1 year. It kind of tends to become a problem, because to me, in the second year, if you're a veteran, like let's say 33, 34, 1 more year after that, there's an injury concern to me. There always is. So that's the one thing you got to worry about. I think that's going to do it for this video, though. I think those are all the rumors that I have today. Also, Klay Thompson and the Warriors, I think the Warriors are going to actually offer Klay Thompson the max, a 5-year, $190 million deal, which to me, they were going to do that either way. There's been a lot of rumors that if he doesn't get the max, people are trying to scare you into thinking that they won't offer him the max, which to me was never a concern. He's going to get the max. He's going to stay in Golden State. To me, that's not the issue, is that what do they do with Kevin Durant? Because he's opted out of his player option today. Does that mean he's leaving? No, it just means he's going to be considering other options. If I'm Golden State, what you really want to consider is that this core is getting older. You're still going to be probably the most talented team, but guess what? As other teams are getting younger, even though they're getting older, they're acquiring different pieces to assemble around them. If you pick up Kevin Durant, if you want to keep him and Klay, as great as you are as a core, guess what? You're going to also, you're going to have to sacrifice somebody, because guess what? Then you got Draymond. So if you sign all those guys, then you have a really large luxury tax bill, even though they're going to be printing money, so that's not even an issue. But you can't really build out your bench. So I mean, I'm telling you guys, like, health and depth is big. So remember that always. So this we're going to be harping on all this week. Health and depth. If you got health and depth, I don't care how much talent you got. If you got health and depth, you can win a championship. That was Golden State's, to me, 4 years in a row up until this last year. Health and depth has been their friend. When you don't have depth, health tends to go with it. So, but that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. This is Purple Show Live Sports. It's my breakdown on free agency rumors, my thing on health and depth, how to build teams, and how to be successful. That's what a successful GM should be thinking about. Thank you guys for, again, this is going to do it for me for today, and I'll see you guys next time.